Hey gang, it's Mage right here. Last time I broke down blasting Bloodrager build, and the comment section was pretty good. People pointed out some corrections and tossed in some new optimizations, and even pitched some stuff for my Ragefire build as well that could definitely help out with both builds, and I think it would be good to cover that for today. I just kind of wanted to follow up on the community suggestions on it to make the builds a little bit stronger, or just give out better and different options to have them out there for people. So we'll start with Bloodrager. So one thing I did do with Voyager is I did accidentally mark Orc Bloodline in there when I made the Reddit post. That was definitely an accident, and it shouldn't have happened. So something we'll have to just watch out for next time. But the math was all correct. We only counted Blood Havoc and Flumefire in there, so fireball damage is correct. It should just be the 10 plus 30 that I mentioned at level 10. Definitely some ways to boost that as well, though, that we'll go into too. But yeah, basically it's just a core concept of the Bloodrager, and it's just super tanky and can wear decent armor, and it still has a solid melee prowess to juice into there. And the spells are kind of only there a little bit, but they definitely hit hard when you do utilize them. Yeah, it's tanky, explosive, and it's just fun to play. And you have the Nova option when you want it. So some of the community feedback. Skrull suggested that we could dip into a cross-blooded orc or draconic sorcerer for +2 per damage die for scaling. This does stop you a little bit on the martial side and slows down your spell progression, but I mean, +2 spell damage is pretty good, and this is kind of similar to what I did with the Hell Knight Signifer. So definitely a solid option. Unbound Undead brought up trading blending powers for a valet familiar, and then you use that to get a teamwork choral support feat. And this will let you convert a spell damage type for elemental into sonic to bypass immunities, which is a big problem for fire. So this is definitely a solid thing to consider. Magic Trick Fireball is another great option. Shrink it for more damage with selective spell as well combined into it. So we can shrink it down for a lot more damage. Monochromatic Prism. This was kind of originally in the Hell Knight Signifier build, but this also works here, so I put it in both. But he pointed out that the magic missile with elemental spell and taking the trait magical lineage can reduce it so that it doesn't cost any metamagic, and using elemental spell metamagic makes it so that the magic missile is now fire, so it will scale off of all of our damage dice. So we can have a very accurate option for big damage when we need it in that moment. It's 100% accurate, and you can literally just slap on just like the rune spells. Or Pearl of Power, I guess, is the usual way we say it, but I know that spontaneous characters use runestones, so. But just some cool options for the Bloodrager build. I think those are all very good suggestions and good ways to enhance the build. All right, so let's hit on the Ragefire Signifier. So Ragefire Signifier kind of takes up on some of the weaknesses that Bloodrager has and kind of casts them away, but trades things for it. So Bloodrager had the issue where they can't really cast very many spells. The spells that they do cast are incredibly impactful, but they do have their issues where, yeah, you do run out of juice pretty fast on the spell front, but you're a martial character, so it's kind of okay. You're more like a martial character who has the potential to blast hard. Ragefire Signifier goes in the other direction where you're pretty all into spells. You could melee with this build, but it is not super efficient. But you could definitely make a better melee version if you wanted. But we basically made a caster that blasts in heavy armor and takes a bunch of flat damage to apply to every fire evocation spell, not just fireball. It's very consistent and repeatable damage. So it's definitely very helpful to have on that front. So I just used fireball as an example, but you can use anything with this. It works totally fine. So we'll start with Monochromatic again. So like as I pointed out before, the magic missile thing that he mentioned is very good. This is worth 5 die 4 plus 32 damage, and it's if you use the elemental spell and the magical lineage, this is a great option to just do a ton of damage. Another option is also the intensified snowball, since it's spell resistant proof, and we can just make it into a little mini one-shot fireball instead with elemental spell. So a lot of really good stuff with elemental spell to use here. There's definitely other good spells too, like probably Ice Spears would be very interesting with this as well. White Knighter in stage Fistfight suggested like a shaman route with like waves and wandering spirit fluid for a different version of this. Yeah, use fluid magic for flexibility, and then you can grab fireball off of flame spirit. Or do like a Spirit God Oracle, which gets like the waves hacks for free, making it spontaneous. But it's a versatile blaster. You're definitely going to lose a lot of the flat damage dice, and you'd really only be able to get access to Flumefire with this setup. But it's not bad, and it's a divine caster with a lot of other spell options. So you're looking to be more of a healer and have some blast, this is definitely something worthy of consideration. Lord Tech mentioned doing like a spell slinger build with this and using like disintegrate and other cool things with it. You would have to dip into wizard to get that into there, but definitely not a bad option because those spell crits can be pretty nasty because they can get it to times 3 with their guns if you use a two-handed rifle. So definitely not a bad option. I saw a guy one time use this and he crit with a disintegrate and he nuked somebody. It was crazy damage. It was like 400 damage or something insane. Comparing the builds, I mean, I think the Bloodrager is burstier. It definitely has more health and more meat to it, but it also has a solid martial backup plan. Ragefire Signifier, on the other hand, is all about, it's a very consistent blasting build that has more spell slots and more versatility and has heavy armor. Bloodrager's downside is, like I said, it just doesn't have the spell slots to compete on that front, but you are still a very strong, full melee character at the end of the day, so they still do very, very well with their rage powers and rages. The only other downside we forgot to talk about too was just the rage power, or sorry, the rage rounds can be a bit rough on Bloodrager because you can use them up pretty quickly. There are a few ways to restore them, but not a lot. You kind of have to account with that with the like extra rounds, feet, and there's a couple other options out there. But I definitely appreciate it. So big thanks to Scurio, Iker159, and Unbound Undead, and White Knighter, Stage, Fistfight, Monochromatic Prism, and Lord Tech for their ideas. Definitely has helped kind of enhance the builds a little bit and give them a bit more options. Some things I hadn't really considered. I think the elemental spell with Magic Missile is just a fantastic idea. A lot of good options with that. I like the coral support with the familiar as well to give you an option to get around the fire resistance for sure, and some options. And I mean, this is something that you could do with Hell Knight Signifier as well. But yeah, the Bludger just is just very solid. Deals explosive Nova damage when he has to, and still very solid martial prowess. The Signifier sustains blasting across all fights with so many spell slots. It does very, very well. So yeah, if you could just drop your thoughts in the comments, or if you have any other ideas, feel free to bring those out. If you could like and subscribe for more content, and the next video I'll be doing is I'll be